Hey y'all, welcome to B Nuggets Off the Cuff Unscripted. What is it that propels someone to take responsibility for themselves? I've seen it said that 95% of people won't take responsibility for themselves. Let's say 95% believe that nothing will ever happen to them, that it just is what it is, that they're just skating through life, enjoying it in the moment, and that they think nothing will ever happen to them. 2%, however, think that something could happen to them, and they feel as though that they just don't have the means to do anything about it. And 3% think that something could happen to them, and they start to take some steps. They start putting some things aside, start learning some things. The saying that society is 3 meals away from anarchy, meaning that for most people, they only have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that amount of food in their homes. A lot of people only have a couple days, several days, generally maybe only a week at most. They just don't have a whole lot. But a good majority only have enough for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's how the saying is. Another saying in the prepper community, the end of the world as we know it. Generally, that saying, the end of the world as we know it, it's attached to the literal, global end of the world as we know it. Meaning there's some type of pandemic and a global population die-off, or an EMP where the entire world's power grid goes down, or there's an economic collapse and finances just aren't what they were, or an asteroid and some fiery explosion somewhere. And look, what is most likely to happen as far as an end of the world as you know it scenario is your own personal end of the world as you know it. Let's relate it to the pandemic, the EMP, the economic collapse, and even an asteroid. A pandemic, your own personal end of world as you know it. This is how it goes. You're not reading the signs properly that you're getting a little bit sick, and you're not taking proper measures to get rid of your sickness. You're not sleeping right. You're not hydrating right. You're not taking any kind of medicine, and the cold, it progresses. And now you got pneumonia and you're into the hospital. How do you circumvent something like that? Well, you start to hydrate, you start to sleep more, you get your rest, you start to take some preventative maintenance, whether it's vitamins or it's just off the shelf. This cost me $1 down at the dollar store. You have some stuff stored aside. $1 for a packet full of Alka-Seltzer medicine. For me, this stuff works wonders. I am sold on this product, and I'm not a salesman for Alka-Seltzer. It just works really well for me. But you start doing something about it. You have something set aside beforehand. Say you did get sick. Hey, some cans of chicken noodle soup would be pretty terrific to start helping you hang out. Maybe you're going to miss a couple days of work. Having some cash aside in case you're missing some work just so that you can make ends meet would be fantastic and very smart. How about that EMP? What's most likely to happen instead of this global EMP is your own little personal EMP takes place in the form of an electrical storm, lightning, windstorm. There's freezing rain, snaps a power line, or somebody just smashes right into some type of power line. And now you're without power for a handful of hours or a handful of days. Hey, having candles set aside, having batteries and flashlights, having some money because you're just not able to get it. I don't know. Having some way to filter water because if any's coming out, it's probably going to be dirty or you're going to have to access it somewhere else. Having some food set aside, non-perishable, because probably everything that's in your refrigerator and freezer, it's gonna not be any good. All right, economic collapse, right? What's most likely to happen is your own personal economic collapse. Again, I don't hope any of this ever happens to you all, but that's what's most likely to happen. In the form of, hey, you're fired, it's time to go. With all that's going on with large corporations and them shutting their doors on people, loads and loads of folks are without jobs. Or what if you're just tired and you're fed up one day and off the cuff, you just like, I'm quit, I'm out of here. And you didn't pre-plan Now you're without a job and you're having a hard time finding a job. Having had put aside some cash to help pay your bills, to help pay for your gas tank, to get you to the next job, man, that would have been pretty smart and beneficial. Having some food set aside already to help you in your transitional time till you can find another job would have been pretty smart. What about that asteroid? In the form, here's how the asteroid scenario plays out, at least how I'm thinking of it. A fire. What if your home catches fire? With all this stuff, you keep it close by somewhere. You can take just a regular old grocery bag, collect all this stuff up, put it in your grocery bag, which now becomes buzzword, your go bag, and you're out the door, lickety split. Or keep all this stuff in that grocery bag already so that you can just grab it. It's your emergency bag, your preparedness bag, and you're out the door. You've got cash in case you need to stay at a motel, or if a friend picks you up, you got money to cover things. You got canned food if you're at somewhere else. You got everything that you're going to need to cover yourself for a short bit so that you can start formulating a plan. It's going to buy you some time. And even if, God forbid, there is one of these large global end of the worlds as we know it, you have some things in place. Just this small collection of stuff. It can buy you 24 hours, 48 hours, depending upon how much stuff you've got and you've pre-planned aside. You're buying yourself some time to make a plan to what you're going to be doing next. Start to plan, folks. The end of the world as you know it is sooner, could happen sooner than you think. Definitely your own little personal end of the world as you know it.